Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah. Here we go. Excuse me. Wait for some people to turn up, inshallah. Here, let me try this. Take two. Oh. Well, see, that's what happens when you turn on your post notifications. That's what happens. Turn on your post notifications, you get notified. Technology. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Who the hell is this? I like to share the link in a few of the group chats I'm in. It's like, we are live. All the way from Northern California, we are live. Okay. Oh, sweet. He just messaged me back. Okay. Let me get to this. Should I actually, you know what? Actually, here's the thing. Funny enough, because I actually just had a conversation with, like an hour ago, maybe hour and a half ago. I don't know. Had a conversation with some Christians on Clubhouse, and funny enough, it was well, I've had a couple of weird conversations with Christians the last couple of days, like something that's crazy, right? But so the one I had about an hour and a half ago was about the Trinity, right? Now, to be fair, I wasn't really debating. It was more of question, like I was asking questions, right? Now, because I've asked this question to Christians a number of times about whether or not. By the way, I'm sorry. I know a lot of you guys love the topic of the Trinity. You just love it, right? It's just like favorite topic in the world. But I had this conversation, so and I wasn't. He was basically bringing up Old Testament justification for the Trinity, and I was just like, okay, I mean that's cool and all, but like, to be honest, I'm not the most knowledgeable person in exegesis of the Old Testament. I do know some brothers who are very knowledgeable in that. I'm not. But the one question that lurks in my mind every time someone tries to justify the Trinity using the Old Testament is, where were the Jews who believed in this and were taught this by the prophets, like all those years, right? I mean, all those years, God's prophets were, because I asked them straight, do you believe? I'm not gonna say who it was, but I asked this Christian straight. And by the way, guys, just so you guys know, this was a fairly well-known Christian on Clubhouse. This isn't like this guy has like thousands of followers, which, like I think more than 3,000 followers, which is a lot for Clubhouse, right? It takes a very, very long time to get 1,000 followers. This guy had like, I think 3,000 from what I remember. So yeah, very, very well-known Christian on Clubhouse. In any case, I asked him straight, like, so what do you believe happened? So first I asked him, do you believe the prophets of the Old Testament believed in a triune Godhead? He said yes. Okay, cool. So then my next question was, so what about all the Jews that they were teaching? What about all the Jews who learned from them, right? Because obviously God's prophets weren't keeping they weren't keeping God's message like a secret. They're prophets of God. They're messengers of God. Their purpose is to propagate the message, right? So, the question becomes is, what happened? Did people not notice that these prophets were teaching the Trinity? Did these prophets just like were they given this revelation and just forgot to teach it? Like basically or maybe did the message get lost, right? Maybe they taught this message to the people and it was just lost over time. Like, what's going on? And then he started to kind of backtrack a bit. Like, Well, I mean, they believed, but like they didn't have he was starting to lean towards that they didn't have the full picture, right? They didn't go into the nitty gritty. That's basically he didn't use the word, but he didn't use those exact words, but he basically was saying they believed the fundamentals, but that they didn't go into the nitty gritty. That came later on, like as progressive revelation. But I'm just like, I mean, whether God is one or three in one, or just one absolute one, or three persons in one, that's kind of fundamental. That's very fundamental to your beliefs. I mean, that that could potentially make you a polytheist, right? If you get if you get it wrong, right? Or not, maybe not a polytheist, but that could jeopardize your eternal hereafter if you don't get it right. If you don't get that right, you don't get the concept of God, the basics of the concept of God. If you don't get that right, then you're doomed. It's that simple, and whether God is a Trinity or not, that's important and that's fundamental. And keep in mind, God's prophets are meant to send what do you call it? Walaikum Salam, community for Islamic research. The What was I saying? Yeah, no. So God's prophets, obviously, the concept of God was like that's everything. That's everything that they came to teach us, right? I mean, that is the foundation. That is the smoking gun of their message. The concept of God. For Muslims, we believe they came and taught the Tawheed of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. That's that summarizes that summarizes the message that every prophet came to teach us, right? Tawheed. So now imagine if one of us Muslims was to say, well, they kind of believed in Tawheed, like a little bit, but they didn't really get into like, it's just like, oh, well, they didn't really get into the details of it, or they believed in God, they taught God exists, but they didn't really get into they didn't really get into the details of whether it's Tawheed or whether it's a Trinity or this, that. It's like, hold on, what were they sent to do then? You're telling me they didn't get into the basics of what God is and who God is, right? The Trinity here is fundamental to the Christian belief. It's one of the core doctrines of Christianity. And now of what and the core doctrines of all the prophets of God, according to Christians. They say, I asked him straight. He believes that they all believed in a triune Godhead. He said yes. Okay. Obviously, the prophets of God were teaching about God. So they believed in a triune God, and at the same time, somehow never taught that he was 3 in 1, right? Or somehow forgot to get into those details. I mean, those are fundamental details. We're not talking nitty gritty here, guys. We're not trying to nitpick, right? I don't want to nitpick. This is fundamental, though, right? Whether or not they taught, they got into the details of whether go to sleep. Okay, dang. Community for Islamic Research, I'm pretty sure I'm older than you. I'm pretty sure I'm a few years older than you. And yeah, anyway. Anyway. Don't know where that came from. But so I was quite shocked when at first he said, yeah, they believed in the Trinity, but then he backtracked and went, well, I mean, they kind of did. They had indication of it, but they didn't really get into too much nitty gritty. And I'm like, well, whether God is 1 or 3 is not just like some little like caveat, like, oh, just some little like, oh yeah, that's a little note to self. Yeah, God is 3 is 3 persons, not once. Like, that's a big deal. So, yeah, I'm not going to respond to that. Yeah, sorry. I'm not even going to respond to that. But I basically I kept pushing. So okay, so you don't think that God being a Trinity is fundamental to your belief? He goes, no, it is, right? That's the difference between heaven and hell for them, right? He goes, no, well, it is, but they came to teach the core, and he kept on trying to divert the question to, well, we can clearly see from the Old Testament that God's a Trinity. Now, whether that's true or not, I personally don't believe that's true. But like I said, I'm not the most knowledgeable in exegesis of the Old Testament, so I made it clear. I was like, okay, I'm not going to contest that right now. That's fine. You can whatever, right? I'm just asking a question that kind of should be lurking in the minds of other people. You're telling us that the book of the Jews, for all those centuries, so clearly, according to you, taught the Trinity. So my question is, what happened to the Jews who believed in the Trinity, right? Now, if you're going to tell me that none of them ever did, well, that's so you're telling me that this book is so obviously teaching X, but no one ever believed X? Seems a bit inconsistent. And if that's not it, then you're going to have to say, well, it came through progressive revelation. Okay, that's fine and all. But then the question then becomes, how do you know that there isn't going to? So, for example, Christians believe that God is three persons. There's no verse of the Bible that states, as far as I'm aware, again, I don't want to sound arrogant here, guys. I want to be corrected. I love being corrected, right? There's no verse of the Bible that says that God is only three persons. So my question is, is there a fourth person that just hasn't been revealed yet? Right? The problem is he kept on kind of going back and forth between, the prophets believed in a Trinity. They knew there was a Trinity, and there was a mystery, or they weren't sure, or they were still missing some information. There were some things that still needed to be revealed. It's like they believed in a Trinity or in a triune God, but they were still lacking some details. Well, then the question becomes, what details were they lacking? If they were lacking details, which details were, because if they were lacking those details, that would imply those details aren't explicitly taught in the Old Testament, right? It seems like she's trying to have his cake and eat it, because he knows there's a problem. He knows that, wait, hold on. So this book, I'm claiming this book teaches something so clearly, but somehow the people who believed in it for all those thousands of years somehow never noticed. Yeah, that's a bit strange. So he sees that, and on the other hand, he needs to defend his core doctrine from this book. So he's going to do that. He's going to say, oh, there's a verse here and a verse here. Oh, there's a Spirit of God here. There's a Son of God there, and there's X, Y, and Z here. Mash them together, boom, throughout Trinity. He needs to do that. But then on the other hand, he needs to appeal to mystery. He needs to appeal to progressive revelation to justify no one in history believing what he believed, right? But of course, as I've established, you run into all sorts of inconsistencies. You run into all sorts of, because keep in mind, because I mean, look, what are the options? Assuming he's right that the Old Testament clearly teaches God as a Trinity, what are the options here? Okay, either the prophets of God just never taught anybody this doctrine, or maybe they taught people this doctrine, but people just didn't care. I don't know. People around them just didn't care. Other option, the Jewish the prophets taught this message that God is a Trinity to the people. The people accepted it, and then it just somehow got lost. Now that's fine if you want to believe that, but the thing is, I'm yet to really hear any kind of like consistency amongst this questionnaire. It just hasn't happened yet. You can't first say that they all believed in a Trinity, but then appeal to progressive revelation, because that would imply they didn't know the Trinity, or that they didn't know everything. If they knew everything, or they knew everything that was necessary, right? By the way, when we say progressive revelation, we're talking about the progressive revelation about core fundamentals about who God is, whether he's one or three, or whether he's one being in three persons, right? Was he at first one being, and then it was revealed that he was actually three persons? According to him, yes and no. Yes, they knew there were three persons. Yes, they knew there was a triune God, but there were details about this triune God that were revealed later. Well, if there were details revealed later, what details were those? Because if those details were revealed later, he's implying that those weren't taught previously, clearly, right? And if he's going to say that the details about God being triune were revealed later on, that would mean that those weren't taught previously, and that's not in the Old Testament. And he would be admitting the Old Testament doesn't teach that. So it's like I said, trying to have your cake and eat it. It just doesn't work. That went on for about I don't know, 45 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes, something like that. Because what happened? Because it all started because there was a Trinitarian and what's the other guy called? Some other a non-Trinitarian. It's not like Jehovah's Witnesses or or anything like that. It's some other denomination that's not Trinitarian, for that matter. That was weird. Apostolic? No, I don't know. Allahu Alam. But in any case, I was just kind of like, at first, I was just like a third party, but then eventually I became not the third party anymore. Let's see here. Yeah, exactly. Progressive revelation does not change the most fundamental core beliefs of God. That is quite stupid. Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, like I said, they believed in this, but then this same thing was revealed slowly through progressive revelation later on. Well, make up your mind. Was it known, or was it later revealed? I don't know. Unitarian Christians. Yeah, some Unitarian Christians. Yeah, I mean, he was clearly a Unitarian Christian. He identified with some, wallahi, I don't remember this sect of Christianity. It wasn't Jehovah's Witnesses. I feel like it was like something like apostolic. I don't think that's what it was, though. It doesn't make any sense. No, it's not that person. Community for Islamic Research. In any case, that was that. That was fun. The other fun conversation I had. This was not today. This was a couple days back. I think I mentioned this yesterday, though, on yesterday's stream, so I won't go too much into detail. Basically, this Christian, he essentially was criticizing a story of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I don't remember the whole story, but the gist of it was somebody was disrespecting and insulting the Prophet and violating the Prophet continuously for a very, very long time. And then some person who was related to the person who was doing the insulting ended up killing that person. And then this person was forgiven because he was insulting the Prophet over, or something like that. I'd have to go look it up. But in any case, that's not the point, though. In any case, the point is, it seemed like this Christian had an issue with punishing people who insult God's prophet. We're talking about a society run by the religion of Islam, run by a religious society. It's basically run by the laws of Islam, and whether or not it would be legal, whether it would be tolerated to basically insult and ridicule and make fun of God's prophets and of God and God himself. And essentially, at first, the response was, well, we leave it to God to decide at the end. We leave it to God. Okay, that's cool. We leave it to God as well, but that doesn't mean you can do as you like in this world and we'll just leave it for God. No, if you commit a rape, you commit a murder, yeah, we don't just sit back and we'll leave it for God. Without a doubt, that's going to be the worst punishment. You're getting what's coming for you, but it's not like you're free to do as you like until Judgment Day. It's like it's kind of like what do you call it? What's that thing like where like bail or bond, where like you get arrested, like you're awaiting trial, right? But in that time but in that period you're out of jail, you're just continuing your life. We don't believe that. It's not like this is silly, man. In any case, that was his first response. Well, we'll just leave it for God. No one would practically believe that. Practically, theoretically, but not practically. His next response, after I repeated the question, okay, so that means you believe in a society. That means a Christian society is a society where you can say and do as you like, right? And he goes, well, I mean, God doesn't need us to defend him, this, that, the other, as if I was making that claim. And I was like, no, we don't. I mean, I agree with that. We don't believe God needs us to defend him. It's just a matter of public decency, right? And then for the last time, I asked him, okay, hold on. Can you just answer me directly? Is it true in a Christian society, you can say and do as you like and nothing would happen to you? And the next thing he says is, yeah, you know what? I've said everything I need to say. I'm leaving now. Okay, bye-bye. Got done. Bye-bye. It's just, I mean, it's ladies and gentlemen, like that's, alhamdulillah for them. It's that simple, right? I mean, I don't think most people would even be that like tolerant for insulting their own mother, right? If someone was in your house insulting your mother or your own father or your own family, or, for some people, even like insulting their own country, right? If you were to add that level of insult, they wouldn't tolerate you for 1 second. Yet this Christian here seems to be, or was, I should say, was basically saying, yeah, you know what, in a Christian society, you can insult God, insult Jesus, insult Abraham, Noah, Moses, Solomon, David, Muhammad, peace be upon all of them, right? And, just nothing would happen to you. We'll just leave it for God. It's like, okay, so I mean, that's cool and all, but that's not really a society. You can't you can't seriously expect me to to view that as like an adequate solution or like an adequate alternative, right? See, in Islam, of course, if you insult God and his prophets in an Islamic society, your day ain't gonna end well. It's just facts, right? Your day is not gonna end well. Yeah. This is what's keeping me awake, guys. I learned this lesson yesterday. That's what's keeping me awake. And it's cold too. That's nice. But it's a society means punishing criminals, right? And if you don't punish criminals, that's going to encourage more crime. And he goes, no, man, come on. Now you're shifting the goalpost. Why are they encouraging it? I'm like, well, hold on. If someone's doing something in public over and over and over and nothing's happening to them, that's going to encourage more people to do it. I mean, today, let's say, imagine, God forbid, if today we stopped punishing rapists. Are the rapes going to go down or up? They're going to go up. Of course they are. Because they're all those terrible, disgusting-minded people will be like, oh, okay, nothing's going to happen to us. Yeah, exactly. Very good point. Yeah, historically, this is not the view Christians held. Historically, this is not what Christians practiced. You can go ahead and say as you like, do as you like. No, absolutely not. In fact, it was the polar opposite. It was the polar opposite in Europe. You spoke the wrong doctrine. You spoke out against the Trinity, dude. You're done. You know what I'm saying? It's just silly, man. This is actually why directly after I had that conversation, I opened a room titled something like, what was it? It was Christian flavored liberalism, which is essentially what I had dealt with, right? Someone who basically says, say as you like, do as you like, and we'll leave it for God to decide on the day of judgment. That quite literally is Christian flavored liberalism. Christian flavored, do as you like, and that's it. Well, yeah, man, if you're going to allow people to insult Jesus and insult Abraham, Noah, Moses, Solomon, and that's it. Well, then, man, I don't know if I give this example all the time. Imagine you had a mother with two sons. Both sons lived in separate homes. And then you go to one son's house, you insult the mother, you say disgusting things about the mother, and the son goes, we'll just leave it for God on the day of judgment. Like he keeps playing his video games, he keeps watching TV, he keeps cooking, he keeps chilling out, he keeps doing his thing, right? And he sees you insulting his mother, and he goes, we'll just leave it for God. Whatever. Go ahead, help yourself to go ahead and have a seat. You can keep sitting on the couch. You can keep, watching my TV, hanging out, just whatever. I'll leave it for God. And then you go to the other son's house, and in that house, you say even the slightest, disrespectful thing against the mother, and the son says, get out of here. This is my house. That is my mother. You don't talk to my mother like that, right? Which one of those two sons would you consider the more loving and respectful son? Which of those two sons would we consider more respectful towards the mother? Obviously the latter, right? Yeah, so there are some things you're not supposed to be tolerant about. I heard the saying before, if you tolerate everything, you stand for nothing. It's that simple. If you tolerate everything out there, you stand for nothing. It's that simple. And if you stand for nothing, then I don't know what your purpose of life is, right? It's funny. So don't give me the whole, well, you know what? We'll just leave it for God. Okay, then leave every crime to God on the day of judgment. Leave murder. We'll just leave it for the day of judgment. Rape, theft, all these terrible things, whatever. Genocide, all these things. Yeah, we'll just leave it for the day of judgment. That you should apply that consistently against all sins of all levels of sin, right? But obviously this is not something practical. This isn't something even the most, absent-minded person would even consider doing this. Wallahu alam. But in any case, sorry guys, here. If you guys want to come onto the stream here, My apology. I forgot to leave this in the chat. And I'm going to go ahead and here. I'll post, I'll pin it also. I'll pin it. Let me pin this. Here we go. Pin message. Did that work? Yes, it did. There you go. Perfect. You guys can feel free to click the link if you'd like. So yeah, man, don't give me alhamdulillah, Islam gives you a system and how to deal. It's a practical system. You may not love it always, right? Just like we don't always love necessarily punishing criminals or taking people to court, or we not everyone likes the death penalty, and not everyone likes capital punishment, or not even capital, like charges to the first degree. No one likes those things, but those are necessary parts of life. If you're going to preserve a society, that means doing the opposite of preserving criminals, right? Right. You want to preserve society, you get rid of criminals, right? You get rid of crime, not just criminals, but crime, right? You get rid of the crime, you get rid of corruption, you get rid of all these terrible things. That's how you build a strong society. And if you allow those things to flourish, it's just a waiting game until your society crumbles down. Hold on 1 second. Whatchamacallit. So yeah, I'm gonna the link is in the live chat, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to be reacting. So those are just two funny stories from Clubhouse recently. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and respond to, or show you guys, I should say, this right here. This is another response video I made against Apus, right? Because of how intellectually honest and powerful he is. Not. If I can find it. You think I can find something on my own channel, right? Here we go. Here, 1 second. Let me mute myself. There you go. So I'm going to go ahead and share this link. You guys can go ahead and click the link in the live chat, or in the room chat. Let me see here. Oh, by the way, guys, in case you didn't notice, the StreamYard symbol has disappeared. So because we upgraded, alhamdulillah, we upgraded our StreamYard, the plan, the subscription plan we're using. So that's good. So no more little, I gotta get this right. No more little StreamYard symbol up here. So it's clear, alhamdulillah. Plus, now we can record unlimited and stuff. It's just it's better, alhamdulillah. I'm gonna click the share button. Share. Here we go. There we go. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you all. Welcome back, everyone. I cannot believe I'm. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you all. Welcome back, everyone. I cannot believe I'm actually doing this again, but somehow, some way, you guys all loved the previous video where, I took a whack at it, and I chose to make my first ever response video. I guess double or nothing, right? So, yalla, here we go. Let us now observe Apus attempt to prove that Islam, quote unquote, got Jesus completely wrong.
Many of you are aware that Muslims consider Jesus an
Now I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. You know why, guys? Because I just realized I was muted that whole time while I was talking. What the heck? Oh my god, man. I was seriously talking for the past like 2 minutes straight while I was on mute. Rookie mistake, rookie mistake. So what I was saying during those 3 minutes was that the title of this video that I'm responding to is How Islam Got Jesus Completely Wrong. Keep in mind, Ridvan is an atheist. He's an atheist. An atheist is telling us Muslims how to believe in Jesus? I mean, I know this appeals to his Christian audience and stuff, but I mean, come on. There's no way that none of them thought of this. Or actually, well, would it surprise me though? I don't know. In any case, let's continue.
Important religious figure, but they differ very much in how they respect Jesus. According to Islam, Jesus was not divine. He was not the Son of God. He was fully a human, merely a prophet of Allah. He was a Muslim. Muslims believe that Jesus was not crucified, but rather someone else was made to look like Jesus and crucified, and Jesus was raised to heaven by Allah.
As Muslims, we do not necessarily believe that someone else was made to look like Jesus. All we're told in the Quran in chapter 4, verse 157 is, وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ, which means it was made to appear so. Keep it. Yeah, so I mean, the reason why I took the time to underline these and also to, what do you call it, box the excuse me. The reason why I took the time to basically, what do you call it? The reason why I took the time to actually box the Arabic and also show the English was because I can't tell you, we always see, this is something Christians do all the time. They'll go, well, you know what? Your God deceived the people because he made them think Jesus was crucified. It's not what the Quran says. Quran simply says, وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ. It was made to appear so. So I don't know how that doesn't, it's so clear. It was made to appear so. It doesn't say Allah made it appear so. Now, if it said Allah made it appear so, if it said Allah should be hadahum, I don't think that even sounds right. But if it was to say Allah made it appear so, you have a point. But it doesn't. Walakin shubbiha lahum here. Walakin shubbiha lahum. It was made to appear so. Done. Case closed. So this whole God made God made someone look like Jesus. It's out the window. I mean, that might be one potential. Excuse me. That might be one potential explanation, but to claim that that is how it happened was just an argument from silence. In any case, let's continue. Keep in mind, it does not say Allah made it appear so.
So Islam recognizes Jesus, but strictly rejects his divinity, his status as the Son of God, and even rejects the crucifixion. This is a big issue, and I'm not here today to argue that he was crucified or that he wasn't crucified. That's an endless...
Right, so, obviously the crucifixion to him is not something important as far as he's concerned. It's just a man in the first century getting crucified. So historically, it's not really that big a deal, right? But here, watch this.
Pointless discussion, if you ask me.
Nah, what would you know about pointless discussion, Ridvan? I mean, come on.
What I want to do today is to ask some questions. Why? Why was Jesus not crucified according to Islam? What's the logic in that? Other prophets were killed before Jesus, according to the Quran. The Quran repeatedly condemns...
Yeah, so what do you call it? Yeah, he makes a good point here. He says, historically there are many Jews who were killed by the prophets. Agreed. That doesn't somehow. How does that negate Jesus getting saved? It doesn't. It doesn't. It's that simple. It doesn't. Sorry. The what do you call it? It just it just doesn't make any sense how someone would, it's like, well, God's prophets were saved before, sorry, were killed before. Therefore, God can't ever save any of his prophets in the future. It's just it's completely. Is that a non sequitur? I think it's a non sequitur. Like basically the evidence he's giving, the reasons he's giving, don't actually support the point he's being making, right? I mean, oh, sorry, yeah. I think I misspoke. Did I say saved? Yeah. The prophets were killed, but many prophets were killed by the Jews. So how does that somehow prove or disprove Jesus getting saved? It doesn't. It has absolutely nothing. There's absolutely no correlation. Just because God saved certain prophets, it doesn't mean God can't allow one to die, one supposedly to die, right? Sorry. What? Sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm getting mixed up. If God allowed many prophets to die, that doesn't mean he can't save one in the future. Just because, I think according to the New Testament, what was his name? John the Baptist. He was brutally murdered. According to the Old Testament, Jeremiah brutally murdered. Many prophets were brutally murdered. That doesn't mean that Jesus had to also be brutally murdered. He could have been saved. It's very easy. These things, it's not hard for Allah to save a human being. So, doesn't back up the point. Yeah, you mixed up Jews and prophets. I'm sorry, man. You guys know what I'm trying to say. This Gatorade's not working on me, man. By the way, guys, just so you guys know, it's like partially frozen, so it's not like I could easily finish. I could have easily finished this in like 2 minutes, easily 2 minutes if I wasn't frozen, but I wanted to. I froze it just to keep it get it to last longer. In any case, let's continue.
The Jews as killers of prophets without specifying which prophets exactly were killed by Jews. So according to the Islamic text itself, prophets were killed, so it is not unreasonable for a prophet to be killed.
And it's also not unreasonable for God to save his prophet from harm. Granted, previous prophets were harmed and killed. That does not negate the possibility that God could save prophets in the future.
Here is the bigger problem. Islam's idea that Jesus was not crucified, but that somebody else was crucified instead of him, is an idea that
Straw man argument. We Muslims don't necessarily believe that someone else was crucified in his place. That's a belief some exegetes hold, but that's not something that Muslims are required to hold to, right? We're simply not told. Yeah.
that came before Islam within certain sects and heretical beliefs and movements within Christianity. Crucifixion denial, that Jesus was not crucified, and substitution hypothesis, that somebody else was killed instead of Jesus, are ideas that are found in docetic Christian beliefs or Gnostic Christian beliefs.
As established before, we Muslims do not necessarily believe that someone else was crucified in the place of Jesus. On the other hand, to claim that the Islamic teaching that Jesus was saved from the cross was copied from Oh my God. Was I muted that whole time? Oh my God. Oh my God, guys. Oh my God. Oh my God. I was muted that whole time. Oh man. Oh man. What do I do? Oh Man, I don't know what to do with myself. I think this is the last time I'm doing a stream at this hour. That's it, guys. I think I'm. I just upgraded StreamYard. This is how I put it to good use. Why did it take you guys so long to respond and say you couldn't hear me, man? I spoke for like 5 minutes straight, and you guys told me a minute ago. Oh man. So what I was saying was, don't drink Gatorade, man. This usually Gatorade helps me. Drink tea. Tea has never helped me stay awake. So what I was saying was, I gotta set a reminder for myself or something. I don't know. What I was saying was, when I finished editing this video, I genuinely thought to myself, like, did I waste all that time? Did I seriously waste all that time? I'm not even kidding. I was actually contemplating, like, could I have spent that? How long did this video take me to edit? I don't know. 3 hours, maybe? No, 4 hours. 3 or 4 hours. Like, did I waste those 3 or 4 hours? Could I have done could I have because I'm pretty sure this was during my spring break I made this video. Yeah, I believe so. My spring break. Actually, wait, let me check. Oh no, this was this was actually this was in January I made this video. Yeah, so this wasn't my spring break. This is before my spring break. In any case, I could have spent this time studying, could have spent it playing Xbox, could have been doing so many other things in those 4 hours. Like, I genuinely thought back, I'm like, was that worth it? Am I wasting my time? What's going on? But then, eventually, I spoke to some brothers about it, and they were like, no, man, it's like, these things need to be called out. These arguments do need to be called out at some point. And, again, an atheist here is telling us how Muslims should believe in Jesus, aside of how terrible the arguments are. But I'm like, I thought atheists were supposed to be like the bastions of, the bastions of what's the word? Critical thinking and critical thinking and stepping outside your comfort zone and going against going against the mainstream ideas to trying to be objective. I thought this is what atheists were known to be bastions of. Apparently not, right? Not after seeing this video. The guys here telling us, well, you know what? Many prophets before were killed by the Jews, so therefore it makes no sense to say Jesus was also killed. So it makes no sense to say Jesus was saved. No, you can show me a million prophets before who were killed. That doesn't prove or disprove anything about Jesus being killed or saved, right? It doesn't. Unrelated, completely unrelated. By the way, guys, it's just, so I keep taking sips because it's melted. So every minute or so, there's a little bit melts. So anyway, but if you guys were paying attention earlier, he was like, well, you know what? God lists many prophets who were killed. So why would Muslims believe he was saved? Well, those two things can be true at the same time. You can say that, yeah, God allowed many prophets before to get killed, and God also saved Jesus. Like, those things are perfectly reconcilable. No contradiction. No, there's no contradiction between those two statements. In any case, let's continue. Now, I'm going to mute myself. Inshallah, bi'idhnillah, next time I speak, it's going to be the first thing I do to unmute myself. Because I'm going to be on mute. I'm going to unmute myself when it's time. Just watch. From Gnostics is what we call the post hoc fallacy. Just because B comes after A, that does not necessitate. There, see? Didn't make the claim. Didn't make that mistake again. You see, the post hoc fallacy, just because B comes after A, that doesn't mean B came from A. Because he was listing out all the Gnostics going, oh, Gnostics believed X, Y, and Z. Muslims also believe X, Y, and Z. So therefore, Muslims have Gnostics to thank for those. Post hoc fallacy. Just because B comes after A, that doesn't mean B came from A. Not necessarily. It can, but it doesn't. It doesn't by definition. It's just that simple. Let's continue. That B came from A.
But what makes them so different from the Islamic idea is that they have a reason to believe that Jesus was not killed. What all of these movements and beliefs have in
Oh, come
common
on, Vidvan.
is that
What
they
would you know
believe
about
Jesus
pointless? So I don't know if you guys just heard my voice in the background there. That was an editing error I made. I recorded that clip of my voice, and I don't know how I may have copied it, and I may have made two copies and accidentally incorporated both of them. In any case, that was an accident, but I probably just exposed myself. Let's continue.
was divine, or he was of a different nature. Because of that, they developed the idea that if Jesus is divine, if he is God, if he's not at all human, then it doesn't make sense for Jesus to be killed on the cross.
Okay, so according to a... Right, so how the hell does us saying that Jesus was fully human somehow negate the possibility that he was saved from the cross? God can save a human being, a regular, normal human being like you and me. He can save us. It's not hard. You don't have to be God to be saved. You don't have to be God or the Son of God or a part of God or a third of, or you don't have to be God anything for a God to save you. It's so easy, man. So easy. Puss. It is illogical to believe that Jesus was saved from danger because we don't believe he was divine. This is a complete non sequitur where the premise of the argument doesn't actually support the argument being made.
Islam condemns the idea that Jesus is divine and promises hellfire for that. Why would a mere human, a mere prophet, not be killed? Why would he be raised from that cross?
Well, Ridvan, in case you already forgot,
Allah can do anything. Allah can do anything. Allah can do anything. Allah can do anything.
Okay, so let me just get this straight. So Apus finds it illogical to believe that Jesus was saved from harm because we don't believe he was divine? Yeah, so it took me forever to be able to get this correct, but I finally was able to find a good movie clip like this one to just match my mood when I heard that argument. You know, so Jesus couldn't have been saved. Oh, sorry, let me close my window, guys. 1 second. There we go. By the way, guys, you guys are welcome to. Bear with me 1 second. Yeah, you guys are welcome to join the panel. By the way, I left the link in the it's pinned in the YouTube chat. In any case, you know, so it's I got some good feedback from some brothers, alhamdulillah, when I use these clips, because they were just like, I mean, that honestly, intellectually is the response most people should have when they heard that. Jesus couldn't have been saved because he's not God, because he's fully human. Well, firstly, God by definition doesn't need saving from anyone. Secondly, he's a human being and God chooses to save him. Why does him being a human somehow like hinder that or mess or it's like he's trying to make an inconsistency. There's no inconsistency. He's trying to make one. Like he wants there to be one. You can't join waiting for the bus. No problem, Psychor. No problem. No problem at all. In any case, let's continue.
Are you serious?
Anyway, will that be all, Apus? Oh, no?
Why does Jesus resurrect people, and why does he give new life to inanimate beings, to clay birds?
Well, the answer is quite simple. Prophets like Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, peace be upon them all, performed miracles to prove their prophethood.
Why did Jesus come anyway, 2,000 years ago, if he's merely a prophet of Allah who is simply...
So yeah, it's just like, you know, like I said, he's trying to come up with an inconsistency. Well, you know what? What do you call it? Sorry guys, bear with me 1 second. Move my microphone over a bit. This is a bit disorganized. There we go. What was I saying? Yeah, so this is him basically trying to come up with an inconsistency, like trying to make something inconsistent. You believe Jesus was not divine, but you also believe he was saved. Most people would be like, so what? How's that? What's wrong with that? On the one hand, we believe he was a human being. On the other hand, we believe he was saved. How is his being a human interfere with him being saved by God or God wanting to save him? Right? God wants to save one of his creation, he can do so. Human, animal, jinn, plant, tree, Ridvan, whatever the hell you are. It's just, you know what I'm saying? In any case, let's continue.
There to correct people and to guide them to Allah. Why did he come and do nothing and leave? If he is the Messiah, what is the function of the Messiah in Islam? And as a Messiah, why did he come back then and did nothing, according to Islam, except just cause trouble and create the biggest false religion in the world?
It's needless to say that as Muslims, we do not believe that Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, was the founder of modern-day Christianity. Regarding why Jesus was sent and what was his purpose, I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description below. You guys can go ahead and check it out.
Christians believed in heretical beliefs, according to Islam, such as that Jesus is God or the Son of God, and that he was definitely crucified and resurrected, and so on. One big issue is the Quran says in chapter 3, verse 55, Allah said, "O Jesus, indeed I will take you and raise you to myself and purify you from those who disbelieve and make those who follow you superior to those who disbelieve until the day of resurrection. Then to me is your return, and I will judge between you concerning that in which you used to differ." This is in reference to those people who rejected Jesus and wanted to kill him, and those people who accepted Jesus and followed him. Those who followed Jesus were the Christians that we have today.
Just one problem. Why?
Who told you that? Who told you the Christians that follow Jesus are the Christians we have today? Who the hell told you that? Nothing. It's out of your rear end. Sorry, I'm raising my voice. My sister's about to walk in here and be like, who are you talking to? I'm talking to you guys. But yeah, it's just, where are you getting that from, man? It's like you're intentionally being stupid. Intentionally. Unless like you're that oblivious or something. I don't know. In that case, I'd actually be more worried about you if you weren't aware. I'd be more concerned for you if you were doing it like out of arrogance. Sorry, I'd be more concerned for you if you were doing it like and you didn't know it was bad or you didn't know it was arrogant, right? Compared to if you knew, because if you know something like that is that stupid and you still do it, then you got a serious problem. If you're not aware of how stupid it is, then okay, may Allah guide you, but we got to show you. Hopefully you're watching this now and you can see how stupid it is.
Information and so on and so forth.
And I just realized that I was not only muted, but I also wasn't sharing the video which I was playing. Oh. How do you guys stay and have that level of patience with me, guys?
Jesus is God or the Son of God, and that he was definitely crucified and resurrected, and so on. One big issue is those who followed Jesus and followed him. Those who followed Jesus between you concerning that in which you used to differ. This is in reference to those people who rejected Jesus and wanted to kill him, and those people who accepted Jesus and followed him. Those who followed Jesus were the Christians that we have today.
Just one problem.
Yeah, so I had to completely repeat that. It's like, who told you that? Who told you the Christians that follow Jesus are the Christians we have today? Well, your buddy David Wood told you that? Well, yeah, Mabruk, so what? You know, it's such a like blatant speculation. I don't know how people live with themselves, man.
Why do you believe that Jesus taught what Christians today believe? Now, typically, when speaking with a Christian, we'd ask, why do you believe what the New Testament says? And why do you accept it as a reliable source of information? And so on and so forth. But come on, guys. How is Ridvan not thinking of this? I mean, come on.
In Christianity, it makes sense. Jesus brings the good news.
Oh, that's a funny way to start it out. In Christianity, it makes sense. In Christianity, the religion of half my patrons, yeah, it makes perfect sense. Okay, mashallah. Yeah.
News to the world. And the gospel found in the New Testament, in the Gospels, is the foundational message of Christianity. What is the good news in Islam, and why was this very important message simply lost?
Very simply, as Muslims, we don't believe that the previous books sent to previous prophets were sent for all of humanity. Therefore, God did not find it necessary to preserve those books. Whereas the Quran, on the other hand, we believe is God's final revelation for all of humanity and for all time. I mean, guys, come on. When I was told about this video, I wasn't expecting much, but this is just... Anyways.
So yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, that's the end of it. But basically, it's just, like I said, it's just pure. I don't know if this is pure ignorance, arrogance, and stupidity. I think it's a mixture of all of them. You know, this was the first time in a long time, I think ever, I've heard an atheist tell me that Christianity, like, was basically upraised Christianity to such a high level to the point where I almost thought he was Christian. I mean, let's be honest here. If Ridvan was to repeat everything he said, you know, he said, "Oh, the Christians who follow Jesus are the Christians we have today." Oh, in Christianity, it makes sense. No, these phrases like this, it goes to show his bias against Islam towards Christianity, right? In favor of Christianity against Islam. You know, it's I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Anyway, should I go sleep? Should I do? Should we keep this going much longer, guys? Sorry, guys. Excuse me for thinking sometimes a bit silently and for prolonged periods of time. That's how I think sometimes, especially when I'm tired. Here. The best thing to do is to keep asking why as the line of reasoning follows. Yeah, I mean, you are digging yourself a deeper hole. You know, for discussing things you're not really aware of. Not just that, but also, I mean, look, dude, if you're a Christian, just come out and say it. Be a Chad, right? If you're gonna basically just unequivocally go, yeah, Christianity just makes sense and Islam doesn't. It's, well, I mean, then just admit you're a Christian. You know, be a Chad about it. In any case, before I fall asleep in front of on camera again, I'm gonna go ahead and I think close the stream down. Yeah, you know what, Psychor? I think I'm not really designed for streams at this hour. I thought I was for some reason. Hey, you learn something about yourself every day. Although, let's be honest, though, this is like the third time I'm learning this. I need to stop doing that. But Barakallah Feek for the advice. I don't suppose you have anything you want to, like, anything you guys want to, like, he can't say that. He says about incest. True. That is a good point. He says he can't say. Well, to be fair, though, he said that a long time ago. He said that years ago. Maybe by now he's converted. It's possible, right? He said this. I don't know how many years ago was this. 3 years ago or 2 years? 2 years ago, I think. 1 second. Y'all know what I was doing. But no, I mean, to be fair, that was this right here. This statement here was years before. Wait, was it? Wait, hold on. The issue with incest. He said it with another ex-Muslim. That's why. I don't think he said I don't. Oh man, people. People just don't make any sense, man. I'm sorry. I'm trying to like guys, sometimes I genuinely just like to sit down and just be like, for just a few minutes, I'll just sit there and be like, just like that. Sometimes answers come to me, but usually they don't when it comes to things like this. I don't know why I'm drinking this anymore. I'm getting tired. And this isn't like helping me not get tired. In any case, I think I'm going to go ahead and close this down because, yeah, I mean, after all, dealing with it's one thing to deal with closet Christians, right? I mean, like I said, if Ridvan, after that video, either this guy is a complete, I have a word in my brain, I'm trying not to use it. I mean, if you're gonna keep, let's be honest here, he only made that video for his Christian audience. That's it, for his Christian audience. The only thing, there were two things that motivated him. One, his hatred for Islam. Two, either his allyship with David Wood or his, the respect of his patrons, right? Yeah, exactly. He's a sellout. I mean, it's when you're an atheist, but then you're criticizing Islam for how they believe in Jesus using non sequiturs, then yeah, I think you're a sellout as well. In any case, I think I'm going to go ahead and close this down. Jazakallah khair, all the people listening, guys. Please, guys, forgive me for all my shortcomings. I'm still new at this. I'm learning, and I've learned that I don't think this is the best time of the day for me to be streaming, as much as I like to. Definitely not by myself. I mean, maybe if someone plans on being like, by the way, just so you guys know, I'm not talking about you guys in the room chat. I'm talking like if it's a brother who's immensely involved in the da'wah who I want to do a stream with, like actually with, not just like, oh, they pop in here. That no, I'm trying someone I might do actually streams with, inshallah, be that. Those are the kind of people that, I think would help me at this hour a day, but Allahu Alam. Sleep good. Well, walaikum salam. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and shut the stream down. Jazakallah khair, all the people tuning in. Be sure, I would appreciate it if you guys dropped a like on the video on the stream. I'd really appreciate it. It helps a lot. And also, if you're not subscribed, it would help a lot. Be sure also to I'm gonna have to figure out what time of day I can do streams. Like what time of day I can physically actually am I capable of doing streams, because I'm clearly not at this hour. I learned this lesson for the third time in a row. I'm not going to make it a fourth, inshallah. So, we'll see, inshallah, but I'll look for a different time. Please stay tuned in. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.